What's your thoughts on Caroline? Do you think she's making things better or worse for herself? Big Brother UK 2025 episode 15 and 16. I had to do both of these together because I couldn't make my video last night, because I don't know if you noticed, but I was on late and live last night. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you know what is absolutely fucking crazy? They actually invited me. They invited me and told me that I could film anything I wanted. Everybody else gets their phones locked. I was allowed to film, take pictures, meet AJ, and they gave me a goodie bag. And I was like, I thought the whole thing was a joke. But I'm going to be making a video about it, showing you all like what happens when you go, and I'll be doing separate videos about that, but I was there. So anyway, back to the main event. Last night, it was nominations, and Nancy voted for Cameron. The fucking audacity. When I was watching this, we were in the Late and Live studio, and you watch it before it comes on TV so that they've got a chance to talk about what happened. And when she voted for Cameron, everybody was like, oh my god, like raging, and I was like, what the fuck? I can't stand her even more now. Now, I feel like a lot of the nominations, like, we knew who was going to nominate, but it really didn't make any sense to me that Elsa nominated Sam and didn't nominate Nancy, because she asked what her nickname was and they said elephant, because nobody would think of her as an elephant because she's so tiny. I think it's unfair to nominate one and not nominate the other. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who else she nominated. Let me know in the comments. Caroline nominated Feliciola because she thinks she's the leader of the house. And it's so clear that she's jealous and that she wants to be the leader and she wants everybody to come to her to talk. And she also nominated Richard because she's still got this vendetta about the whole ball situation. But in the end, Nancy and Sam were up for eviction. We knew this was going to happen. Under normal circumstances, this would be totally fine. But not in the week of the secret room. You want somebody to go into the secret room who you want to stay. And I don't really have anything against Sam, to be honest, but I don't want Nancy to stay. And I feel like they brought the secret room in too soon. And I know there's not that many weeks left, like, generally speaking, but I just don't want any of them to go in. So last night, like, after the nominations, the person who hypes up the audience was saying, oh, is there any surprises? Is anybody surprised about who's been nominated or whatever? And I was like, why did Nancy vote for Cameron? Like, pure raging. And they were also talking about who's going into the secret room. And they were saying, oh, like, who do you think's going to go in? Who would you like to see? And I was talking to the producer. And she says, what about, like, Feliciola? What about Zach? And I says, I don't think Zach's going to go in because when he went into Love Island. And then coming back in, I think it would be a bit weird. But I heard that people think it's Feliciola because her Twitter's been deactivated right now. And she was like, oh no, I don't know anything about that. And I was like, it's Freya, isn't it? But obviously she wasn't giving up anything. But I still think it is. So my brother, who was sitting next to me on the Late and Live show, he doesn't even like Big Brother, right? But he was clapping and he was actually had like the best time. No joke. He even says to me, I'll make a video telling people how good it was so that they should go. But he was saying that he wants Nancy to go into the secret room because if she goes into the secret room and they're bitching about her, she'll come back in and she'll be like a bitch to everybody. But Sam will probably just greet. And he says she'll bring the drama. He's right, but I still don't want any of them in the secret room. Let me know in the comments who you're going to vote to go into the secret room. I don't even know if I'm going to vote. So then, Caroline happened. And she kept happening. It was very bizarre. And I get that she's been away from people for a long time and she's not had these conversations. And she thinks that this is like interacting and it's great and it's fun and all that. But like, is it? I've got a friend who talks about politics a lot. And sometimes you just need to say, nobody gives a fuck. I would imagine it's much like me telling people constantly about reality TV when they have got literally no interest in reality TV whatsoever. So this is like, that's how you get back at me, by talking to me about politics in the news. But she was talking about illegal immigrants, and then she was talking about Indians. And they were saying, no, because Indians are immigrating, they're not illegal immigrants. Aye, but India's got money, and I was like, she's saying that she wants to listen, and she wants to learn, but she's not listening to anything that they're saying. And Tasia was actually thinking, is she fucking for real right now? It was so mind-boggling, and I really think that Nancy needs to lay off the drink, or she needs to stop talking about politics, or something. So Tasia was actually trying to be nice, and she says, it's not as if I think you're thick, but... And then she went into the house and she's like, oh, Tasia called me thick. Technically she did, but not like as direct as that. And then she's like, oh, what life experience has she got? She's only young, patronising as fuck. She doesn't know what life experience she's had. And then she started like, oh, because she's black, she's had a certain life experience. That means I haven't had any struggles, blah, blah, blah. But this is the thing, right? When women say that it's hard to be a woman compared to a man, it's a whole thing. But then if a black person says it's hard to be a black person compared to a white person, then that's not alright to say for some reason. I'm like, you don't know what it's like to live somebody else's life, regardless of bloody well age, gender, colour, or whatever else. It was just so fucking patronising. And also, when Tate nominated Tasia, and he gave like the shittest reason ever, and then he says, oh, because you called Cameron B a weirdo, and she says, he is a weirdo. Exactly. So anyway, everybody's walking away from the couch, they're like, Caroline needs to just stop drinking and stop talking about politics and fucking just get a grip. But then she was in the kitchen and she's going, oh, I feel like shaking things up or causing trouble and all that. And obviously in the diary room the night, she had said that she's going to go anyway, so what's the point? Like, she might as well have fun. In tonight's episode, which was episode 16, Caroline was actually funny because when she was talking to Elsa, Elsa says, do you think the water tastes bad? And I can tell you this, it does. Because we stayed in a hotel that was like 10 minutes away from the studio, and I needed a drink, and I went into the toilet to brush my teeth and I took a drink out the tap, and I was like, oh my god. Undrinkable. But she was saying to Elsa, oh, I drink the water, I used to love doing that when I was a kid. And Elsa says, oh, did you have bubble baths? And she says, they didn't have bubble baths when I was a kid, and I had 20 siblings, and most of them are dead. And Elsa's like, oh, really? And I was like, oh my god. One thing that's funny is, like, see when you're a lot older than people, you can tell them anything and they'll believe it. I do it in work sometimes when I'm bored, and then at the end I'll be like, I was obviously kidding. Jenny, Cameron and Richard were talking about like believing in God or whatever, and Jenny was saying, oh, we didn't evolve, and Cameron says, oh, well, it's science, and she says, oh, but science believe aliens exist. And I just thought, what the fuck? You believe in God, who, FYI, would actually be an alien anyway, but you believe in God and you don't believe in aliens, even though the universe is fucking limitless. I was like, oh my god, man, no. Then Elsa was saying that she doesn't feel as close to God in the house because she's been in bed with Marcus, and she was talking to Cameron about like seeing demons and demonic things happening and all that, and he's just so like, oh really? I've got a friend like that, his name's Tom. He never argues with you, like he always goes, oh, that's an interesting point of view. Oh, what makes you think that? Totally opposite for me. I'd literally be like, you're talking shit. Where'd you get your facts? But I like it when people manage to just stay like neutral, because it's so interesting. They had a talent show which made me feel better about myself, because I also have got zero talent. Richard won, and he won a full body massage from Caroline, and he was talking about doing a personality test and being a romantic asexual. And then Caroline was like, oh, I love you and all that, I thought you were a game player. And he says, oh, I was playing a game. So let me know what you thought of last night's and tonight's episodes, who you voting to go into the secret room, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And if you're interested in what was happening in Leighton Live, then I'm going to be posting lots of videos about it, and I'm going to be at the final. Bye.